Hola chicos. Okay, we're going to begin our flip notes on formal commands. This is exciting because it's a new conjugation, but it's also a new mood, which we'll talk more about in class. So, exciting stuff. All right, so let's go on. When do we use a formal command? We're going to use a formal command when giving advice to someone. We use a formal command when telling someone what to do. Formal commands are a polite way to give advice or directions. And we're going to call them the usted, ustedes forms of the commands. So usted if we're talking to one person, right? Or ustedes if we're talking to a group of people. Okay, so let's figure out how we form these commands. It's really quite basic. We're going to start off with going to the yo form in the present tense. For example, if we take the verb bailar, we're going to go to the yo form, it would be bailo. Then we're going to drop the o at the end, so that takes bailo to bail. Then we're going to add the opposite vowel for the usted or ustedes, the opposite ending. So that looks like this. If you are making a usted command for an AR verb, you're going to put an E at the end of the word. If it is an ER or IR ending verb like escribir or correr, it would end with an A. So watch this. Since bailar is an AR verb, we're going to stick an E at the end of it and say baile. And that in itself is your sentence. And you're telling someone to dance. Nicely, of course. If you're talking to a group of people, you're going to do the same thing, opposite endings. You're just going to use the ustedes form. So AR verbs get N at the end. AR, ER verbs get an. So in this case, if you're talking to a bunch of people and wanting them to dance, you would say bailen. And there's your sentence, basically saying dance. And then there's your example. Corran muy despacio como tortuga. Okay, so let's check this out. We're going to look at the verb escribir real quick, and you can follow it along. Step 1, make sure you're filling in your notes, guys, with the video. Step 1, go to the yo form, so that would be escribo. Número 2, step 2, take off the o, so that would make it escrib. Then you're going to add the opposite ending. If you are talking to, remember your opposite ending, escribir is an IR verb, so we're going to use an A or an AN. We'll use an A for usted, escriba. Right. Or, if you're talking to a bunch of people, we'll say escriban. Escriban. Like, right, you guys. Please. And same, so if we used hablar, to speak, we would use, what would it be? What would the ending be? Hable or hablen. So a polite way of saying speak or talk. And we'll talk about that little picture in a little while. So we've got some for you to do now. So you go ahead and try. We've got hablar and comer already done for you on the chart. You see if you can do the steps to complete the other 5. Please pause the video and do this. This is where you practice and check your work on your own, okay? This is going to enhance your learning rather than just copying down what you're seeing. So go ahead and pause the video and push it when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, hopefully you paused the video. So here's your answers for escribir, and correr, and mirar, and mezclar. The first step, okay? So your first step, of course, go to the yo. There's your yo forms. And then we go their second step is to take off the O. So there you go. There it is with the O taken off. The next step is to add your opposite ending. So for escribir, it would be escriba or escriban, like we just saw. For correr, it would be corra or corran. Okay, for mirar, it would be mire or miren, watch. For mezclar, which we know means to mix, it would be mezcle or mezclen. Beber, beba or beban, drink. Okay, we're going to flip the page over, and of course, we're going to have to be careful with a couple different tenses, and we're going to talk first about our stem changing commands. We must be careful with our stem changers. So these are our boot verbs that we've been practicing. So you'll see that you still have to go to the yo. So for cerrar, it becomes cierro. You take off the o, and you add the opposite ending. So it'd be cierre, cierren. You've heard me say that before. Cierren los libros. For volver, it's a boot verb. Vuelvo, take off the o, goes to vuelva, vuelven. Okay, so you're going to do the next three on your own. Please pause the video. Don't forget these are boot verbs, so their stem is going to be different. Pause the video. Okay, so if you are ready to check your answers, you'll see that for pensar, for usted command would be piense. Ustedes piensen. For encender, encienda. Turn it on or turn on. Enciendan. Dormir would be duerma or duerman. Sleep, you guys, or sleep. So we do have a few irregulars, of course. So these are ones you're just going to have to memorize. So we're giving you five here that are most useful. And we're going to remember them with the acronym SIDES. So you're going to want to take a look at these. We've got ser, ir, dar, estar, y saber. If you don't know the meanings of these, make sure you're looking them up and writing them in next to each verb. These are very important verbs. So ser would go to sea for usted, and you're going to need to write in the ustedes forms for all of those verbs. So ser for ustedes would be sean, ir, vaya, vayan, dar, de, con acento, y den, estar, esté, y estén, saber, sepa, y sepan. Okay, so you got those down. We're going to look at another group. These are the car-gar-zar verbs. I'm not sure if you've heard them referred to as that before, but you will from this point on. You will know them very well. The car-gar-zars, they are unique in their own way. So these are, like, for example, buscar. If it ends in car, like buscar, it's going to go to Q-U. Apagar would go to G-U. Empezar, the Z changes to C, because the Z and the E can't be together. So let's look at what we have. So buscar went to busque, y busquen. So normally it would be B-U-S-C-O, but we take the C, we change it to Q-U, and then we add the E, and busquen. Pagar would be pago, but it's a G, so we got to add a U in there, take off the O. Pague, paguen. Empezar is a boot verb and a zar verb, so that Z is going to change to the C in the yo form. Empiezo would take off the, take off the O, then the Z changes to a C. Empiece, empiecen. We'll practice these some more, but let's try a little bit here. So practicar is a car-gar-zar, meaning it ends in car. So you're going to go to the yo form, which would be practico, take off the O, change the C to a QU, and then add the E or the EN for practique. If you didn't make this change, it would sound like practice. We don't want that. We want to keep the C sounding like a hard C. Okay, then we've got jugar. Now this one's extra special because it's a stem changer and a gar verb, meaning it ends in gar. So jugar, we go to the yo form first. Juego. We take off the O. Then we have to add that U in there and add the opposite ending. So it would be juegue and jueguen. So if you look at almorzar, the car-gar-zar, there's your zar verb. So you're going to, it's a stem changer also, so you're going to go to the yo, so it would be almuerzo. take off the O. That's when you change that Z to a C, and then you add the opposite ending. So it'd be almuerce y almuercen. Okay, we'll be doing more practice with these guys. So if we ever want to say a negative command to tell someone not to do anything, it's very easy. You're going to do the same thing you just did. You're just going to put a no in front of the conjugated verb. For example, don't mix the broth too much. No mezcle el caldo demasiado. Okay? So we're going to do a few commands on your own now. I'm not going to give you the answers on the video. I'd like you to do them before you come into class tomorrow. And they shouldn't be too difficult, but please, please, please refer to your notes that you just took on this sheet. Okay, so there they are. Study for the test. Ustedes, you know how to say to study. Practice the new vocabulary. You know how to say practice. Just be careful because I believe that's a cargar czar. And then don't turn off the oven. You know how to say turn off because that's on our new vocabulary list. And that is also a cargar czar, so ten cuidado. Be careful. All right, chicos. Thank you. Have a good night.